in his
Yeah.
announcements yesterday, he's like, I'm sending them to Chicago. I'm not saying when, but I'm sending them. And then
Yeah.
was
And it's
reading the
two
thing saying
weeks.
that, okay, is that now when it is? It's always 2 weeks.
It's
It's
always two
always two
weeks.
weeks. Right. And then I was also reading that it's actually the Texas National Guard that he's planning to send there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, Pritzker is saying, no, 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 you will not. And then
Mm.
what are his options to stop it? Can he call up his state National Guard to protect his state from another state's National Guard?
I don't know.
I
How
don't
can
know either.
how can Trump call up the National Guard if a governor can also call up the National Guard, right? Like who's
Well,
the
theoretically, the National Guard for each state is only supposed to be called up by the governor of that state. Welcome to another episode of the Bloomburg Democrat. I'm Sally Taylor. This is my discerning, intelligent younger brother, John Daniels. And we are here yet again to talk about the news of the day and to ask the big questions around what we see happening.
Yeah.
So, John, tell me what topic from this last week has seemed the most pressing to you?
The most pressing to me. It's still hot in Kyoto.
If that's the only news you've got that's pressing, you're in good
No,
shape,
that's
brother.
yeah, that's the most pressing to me personally. It's just I bicycle to work and it's hot. But as far as the US goes, oh yeah, yeah, even that is a bit of a mess. I don't know. The most
Yeah.
pressing? I was looking today at the news during lunch and I was just overwhelmed with disgust and just did not want to look at any of it.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped reading.
Well, and you know what? I agree that
Uh,
taking a break from this stuff is important on
yeah.
at a
Well, right,
mental
right, right.
health level,
Yes,
right?
exactly. That's what this was, right? This was just
Right.
me like I'm ready to check out. I can't deal with this right now. It's just too much. It's
Well,
just
in the
nonstop and it gets more and more stupid every time. Like, ah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm with you. I'm with you. And every now and then I have to just kind of walk away from it all because at an individual level, it feels like there's nothing you can do, right?
Yeah.
And certainly to some degree that is true. And if
Hmm.
it's making us crazy in the process of watching it, then
Yeah.
taking those breaks is really, really
Oh,
important.
yes. Yes,
So
definitely. If you're
I'm
starting to
with you.
feel extremist, you should take a break.
Right. If you're feeling a great deal of hatred in your heart for anybody,
Yes, yes.
maybe walk away
Take a
for a
break.
little bit. Yeah.
Take a walk.
Uh,
Go kiss a tree or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you did take that break. It was Labor Day weekend here.
Oh,
John and
yes.
I did go for a hike one day. I touch
Oh,
trees, honestly, I do.
that's good. Yeah, I do too.
I
I
spend a
got to
lot of
get
time
out.
putting my hand on every tree I walk by.
I walk in the river barefoot and
Yeah.
I squinch my toes in the sand and,
Yeah.
I
Okay,
gotta
good. Well, I'm
live.
glad to know you've taken some mental health time, but that said, some stuff
Yes.
has been going on this
Oh
week.
my Lord, it's just a mess.
No, well, I was going to say for me, I'll go ahead and tell you the big ones for me.
Mm.
One was I was really hoping that Trump was on death's door. There was a lot of talk
Oh
going
yeah.
around about
Yes,
where
yes,
is
yes,
Trump? He's
yes.
been missing for a week. And the
Right.
one image that everybody saw of him as he was headed to the golf course on Sunday, he looked like, I don't know, he really looked like he was maybe at death's door. It was
Maybe
a
he was on his way to
fuzzy,
chemo.
right, right. He's had a lot of bruises on his hand, that sort of thing. So he's obviously getting transfusions
Like
of some
Queen
sort.
Elizabeth,
Yes,
just
yes,
before she
yes.
died. Yeah.
Right. So there was a little guilty like excitement around that. And then, of course, he shows up
Yeah.
yesterday in a conference to tell everybody that Space Force is moving to Alabama.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But in that, he also says, I'm sending the National Guard to Chicago.
Well,
I'm not saying
yeah.
when, but I am sending the National Guard.
Yeah, so real quick, Space Force, because I like space. Uh,
Okay.
just the reasoning behind sending it to Alabama was just really, really. This is one of the things that I read before I just stopped reading everything. And he sent it. Well, 'cause first of all, I was not under the understanding that Space Force is completely like separate from NASA because NASA is still based in Houston and Cape Canaveral,
Right,
right?
but they do still have they have bases, maybe not the right word for NASA, but they have a place
Mm,
in Huntsville, Alabama. They have a place in Florida. You know,
okay,
they work from several
okay,
places, mostly
right,
on the
right.
Gulf Coast
And then
area.
Space Force was in Colorado,
Right,
right?
right.
And that was something that Biden apparently felt strongly about. And Trump decided that it was not an appropriate location because of mail-in voting.
Was that his reasoning?
That was his reasoning.
Well, he did say something about that. I agree.
Yeah, and
Uh,
he mentioned that it was bad.
right,
You can't trust the election because
right,
suddenly everybody was committing fraud.
right.
And so he doesn't like that, and so it can't have Space Force in
In
Colorado, I
Colorado
thought.
for those reasons. Well, he
Yeah.
made it a point to say it's not because it was a blue state and that Huntsville's a red state. And so when he says I didn't do it for this reason, you
Mm.
know
Yes, of
that's
course,
the
that's
big
exactly the
reason
reason.
why he did it, right?
Yes.
He tells on himself all the time.
He's like a 2-year-old.
Yes. He's always telling on himself.
What are you doing? I'm not hiding cake. Okay. Oh,
So
man.
yeah, so there was all of that. He's not dead.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I
Yeah.
thought he was dead, but I was hoping maybe he was
Yeah.
in worse condition than he seemed to be on Tuesday. He was
Yeah.
standing and
Yeah.
speaking in the way that he does. Um,
Yeah.
but I am very concerned still about sending National Guard to blue cities. I mean, he is specifically targeting blue cities,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Democrat-run
Yeah.
cities,
Yeah. I mean,
and
this alone should be a impeachable offense, should it not?
Absolutely. I mean, he's committed so many impeachable
The
offenses,
problem
but
is
he's
it's
got
the
Congress.
Supreme Court capture, the
Right.
Congress capture, and now
Yeah.
executive branch as well.
Right.
Man, America really just we really dug a deep hole.
We
We
really did. We
we
really
used the
did.
best shovels we could find.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you and I were talking just before we started about
Hmm.
my concerns that this could be sort of the beginnings of a civil war. So Governor Pritzker in Illinois has been
Well,
vehemently telling Trump,
hmm,
no, no,
yeah,
no, you are not
yeah,
welcome here. This is not a legal action. We do not need or want the National Guard in our state.
yeah,
And so I was questioning what are his options if Trump does go on ahead and send the National Guard? Does
yeah.
and this is a question I don't know the answer to. Maybe we can do a little research later.
Mm,
But can Pritzker call up the Illinois National Guard and
hmm.
basically have them protecting the invasion of
Yeah, and
what
then it becomes
apparently will be the
like
Texas
a
National Guard?
it'll become a game of chicken at that point, right? Who's
Yeah,
gonna flinch first?
right. Which American is going to shoot at the next American?
Yeah, yeah.
And these are the concerns that I have about how
Yeah.
this is escalating.
Well, I feel like it's not so much a question of like is this the beginning of civil war as much as like where do you draw the line? Like, when is the beginning? Like, can we say this is the point? Did it not start before? Is somebody going to come along later and be like, okay, well, later on, after this point in 2026, this was the point, right? Like,
Right.
so I don't know. So it's hard to just say, is this the beginning of civil war? Because we can't say if civil war is going to happen or not. And then, like, what's the really big thing that really pushes it over? Is this the big thing that pushes it over? I don't know. Would it be the response to this that becomes the thing that pushes it over? I mean, then
I think he's looking for a violent
he's
response. He's
instigating, right?
hoping for a violent
Yeah,
response because then that will justify his actions.
right.
Right. And so you and I think said last time, maybe it was the last time we visited, that we may very well already be in a cold civil war.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think we are.
yeah.
I think what we are experiencing is a cold civil war.
It goes back a long time.
Yeah.
Like, at least until Citizens United, but then probably before that as well, right?
Well,
Like,
but so in that case, you're talking about more of a political civil war between the haves and the have-nots. And
no,
and
that's not
Trump is
exactly what
very
I
much
was
making this a
saying,
red state,
but
blue state issue.
yeah. Oof. Yeah, I just don't know how far back you can go or how far forward you need to think before we like start saying this is the turning point. But like I think this is a pretty big deal. It seems to me that it's clearly illegal. You can't just I mean everything Trump does is illegal. So it's not anything new. Like but just nobody's going to do
No.
anything about it.
Yeah.
And
Well, at what point do saner heads in the military say no?
yeah.
We are our oath is to the Constitution.
I read a very interesting thing today about the military, and it was this it's this article about neo-Nazis in the United States taking Ukraine and Russia and blah 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 as kind of like an instruction manual for how to use drones to attack domestic targets in the United States. And there was a recently retired military person who's a part of this neo-Nazi movement. I think it was called AWD, but I don't remember exactly. And and he was saying that he was surprised himself that he was allowed into the military and given security clearance since the FBI apparently had him on a watch list for being like a known member of this group, which is considered to be a terrorist organization. And then the FBI refused to comment on the article.
Of course, of
So
course.
we have neo-Nazis in the military, then going into civilian life and teaching people to use, or
Drones.
at least suggesting that people use drones to commit domestic terrorism. So when are saner heads from the military going to prevail? I don't know if there are any saner heads in the military. Otherwise, wouldn't they already be speaking up? I mean,
I would have
send
thought. But
send National Guard to California. President, it's illegal. We're not going to do that. That's all you got to do, right?
right. Well, the military also does, I mean, especially the leadership of military, they are supposed to be apolitical with
Yes.
regard to that. But when does it cross the line between politics and actual, you know, crumbling of the Constitution? And somebody with
Yeah.
enough education and enough morality and enough
Mm,
ethics has to
mm,
make that call. And I
yeah.
don't see anybody. And now, granted, Trump did fire a bunch of generals when he
Oh,
came back
yes.
into office
Well,
this last time.
fired everybody he could. He tried to get
Right.
rid of all the intelligent people and just hire sycophants.
Right.
So,
And so, have we only got sycophants at the head of our military these days? I don't know.
mm, yeah, I don't know either.
That's
They're
scary.
not they're not
That's
standing up,
scary.
so maybe
They're
they
not.
are. Yeah.
That it could be. I know there's a
I
lot of
mean,
retired
you would
generals that are saying this is not right,
right,
but
exactly.
they're
Yeah,
retired.
yeah. I guess I don't know. When do you have the courage to stand up and say this is wrong? If not while you're in the military. I don't know.
Right. Right now, there's no life at risk beyond the people that ICE is scooping up. But
Right.
with regard to, known American citizens being harmed, and I would claim ICE
Right.
does that too. But with regard
Right.
to that, we don't have Americans actually actively shooting at Americans yet.
Yeah, no,
Right.
not yet. Yeah.
And so, maybe that's the line that a general has to kind of be faced with to say, no,
Yeah.
we're not going
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah, maybe so.
Uh, because
Maybe that's the
I'm,
line that they'll draw, right? Like
yeah,
we'll put up with a lot, but when it comes to actually shooting people, we're not going to do it. Maybe. And
right.
that's a good enough line, I guess. I mean, it
Yeah,
would be nicer if you'd draw it a little bit further in
sooner,
the sand than that.
right? Like invading American
Yeah.
cities with the
Yeah.
National Guard.
Yeah,
I don't know.
occupying cities,
Right.
that's not very
You
good.
got people walking around with guns. Somebody's going to get shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, certainly the citizens are all armed, so
Well, it depends.
the
Most
citizens
citizens, and I wouldn't say that
have
that's true
bullets.
with,
Okay, but the citizens who are armed tend to have bullets in their guns, whereas at first in L.A. they were saying the National Guard had no bullets in their
no
guns, and
bullets. They were just
yeah,
walking around with empty guns. Well,
yeah,
you know, if all they can do is use it as a club, I guess I'm okay with that. Oh
yeah,
no, I don't know.
uh,
You can kill somebody with the back end of a gun as well. So,
sure, sure, sure,
you know,
yeah,
but definitely they're walking around with guns now in DC.
yeah. Well, it brings to mind back in the 70s, right? Wasn't a lot of the Vietnam protesting stuff? You had National Guard facing off with citizens, wasn't it?
Uh, I'll have to look that one up. The last time I know that a president called up the National Guard was during civil rights era.
Was it civil
And
rights
they
era?
were, yes, and they were
Certainly
called
there
up
was
to
in the civil rights era,
protect.
yes.
They were called up to protect protesters. They were
Yeah,
called up to protect, African American citizens
yeah.
from the KKK and the
And
white
the local police.
supremacist and the local police, yes, and the local police
Yes.
and all of the racist white people that
Yes,
were
yes, yes, yes.
basically,
I thought though
responsible
that
for
certainly
lynchings
it
and
was
the like.
also after that. I seem to remember some photos of like hippies perhaps placing flowers inside of
Yes, yes,
rifles.
yes, and the rifles.
Right?
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that image. Oh, we'll do a little research and I'll pop
Yeah,
that here in the
yeah.
video. Um, but yeah, so it's a rare thing for a president to call up National Guard at all.
Hmm.
And usually it's been in protection of the people. Now, granted, I would say that if I were to bring that up around a bunch of Trump supporting Republicans, MAGA, they would say,
Yeah.
well, he is protecting people because of all the crime, right? All the murders,
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
the
yeah,
terrible
yeah.
stuff. But he's sending them into cities that are well down the list for
Yeah,
crime. We've
yeah.
got other cities, and they happen to be in red states
Of
that
course.
have
Oh,
much
I
higher
saw
crime
this
rates.
today too. There was something about apparently there was a murder with a ding dong ditch or something of like a 11-year-old or something in Houston, Texas. Kid rang the doorbell, ran off, and then the guy was apparently waiting for them to come back, and then when they came back he shot a kid. And so it's being treated as a murder. And so all the news channels are reporting that this is happening, at least online, on Google News, and but Fox News, of course, points out that this was a blue city in Texas. Like Jesus Christ,
It's
you
a
can't.
city. It's a
Yeah,
city. I mean,
yeah,
the fact is that cities have higher crime rates than
yeah.
less populated
Well,
areas.
I feel quite certain that the person who was shooting was probably a Republican. Right? I
Oh,
mean,
I'm sure.
Democrat. Yes.
I'm
So you can
certain
point out that it's a Democratic city, but it was probably a registered Republican who shot this person. I
it
haven't
tends to be
I
more
haven't
often than
checked,
not.
but
Yeah,
I feel
I
like it.
haven't checked it.
Yeah.
Or somebody who doesn't vote at all, but maybe is still a MAGA Trump
Yeah.
supporter, whether they vote or
Yeah.
don't vote. I mean, it tends to be more aggressive, authoritarian style
Yeah.
people that get
Yeah.
into that kind of trouble. That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Oh, and one more thing
And
today that I read that just
okay.
really kind of turned me off to the news was Trump killing 11 Venezuelans on a boat with a warship.
Oh, I had not heard that one.
Oh
Tell
yeah.
me about that one, John. That's
Okay.
news to me.
So apparently we've sent a whole bunch of warships towards Venezuela.
Yes, we have, and I'm aware of
Yeah.
that.
You know why, I guess.
I know what's being said, and I
Okay, well I
that
know all I know is what they've said since today.
okay. Go, let me hear your version because you know more about
Well,
this than I do.
so the thing that they're most recently saying is that they sent them there for drug fighting purposes. And so this was apparently a drug ship, and Trump claims it was full of drugs, lots and lots of drugs, and killed 11 people blowing up this ship. And like, are we the world police, but not the world judiciary system? We can
And
just
what evidence do they have that
float
this
around?
was a drug ship?
Exactly. Exactly. I would like to see some evidence. I haven't heard of any evidence. It was not included in the article. And so they have killed 11 people, Venezuelan people, for transferring drugs, supposedly. But transferring drugs is not a capital offense, as far as I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
And these
No.
drugs were not coming to the United States. Apparently, they were going to Trinidad, perhaps. So, what on earth are we doing?
What are we doing? That
We're,
sounds
we're,
nuts, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. We're attacking Venezuelan nationals off the
Are we
coast of
going to war
Venezuela.
with Venezuela?
I think he would like to. They
Isn't
seem
that
to
an
be
act of war?
gearing, they seem like they're gearing up for some defense things. I saw a video on YouTube just the other day of I believe it was Maduro and they were all dressed up in their military fatigues and painted faces and whatnot, and they were really going off. And yeah, I don't know what the hell we're thinking. It's just such a mess. Like it's crazier and crazier and crazier.
Yeah. And then at what level was that order to destroy that boat with people on it? At what level did that occur?
Well, I think it was probably Trump who was telling them to do this. I mean, we have like, I don't remember exact number, but I think it was like 8 warships
Yeah, so
off the coast
we've got a
of,
bunch out there. We do.
yeah,
Uh it's insane, John. I mean,
yeah,
uh why not just board the ship?
yeah,
Prove
right?
that there's drugs
Yes,
there.
of course.
You got
Gather
eight
evidence.
warships surrounding you. I mean, even
Yeah,
if that little boat is pointing guns at you, you could point
yeah,
more guns at them than they're pointing at you.
yeah,
From
from every
what
angle.
distance? I have so many questions about this.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like this, you should, okay, I read the news today. But I got to the point where I just like, I cannot read this anymore. This is all insanity. And it's all just stupider and stupider the deeper I go. And so I just couldn't read anymore. I just quit. And so I don't know. I feel dismissive about everything at the moment, but I think that may just be a coping mechanism. Right?
Yeah, and that's
Like,
okay. You are allowed to cope, John. We are all trying to cope with the insanity that we are
yeah,
experiencing
it's
in the
it's
world these days.
really, really crazy. It's really crazy.
It
And
is.
we need to either put up like a GoFundMe for his doctor so that he'll give him some bad medicine or something, or we need to get Congress somehow involved. Like, what, we got to call their mothers or something and
Yeah,
tattle. Like,
that would be nice. Let's start calling up the
maybe
moms,
that's
all
what
the
we should
living
do.
mothers of Congress members, and
Yeah.
saying, "Aren't you ashamed of what your child is doing?"
Yes, you should be ashamed. Let me just say right now on the internet to all the mothers out there of their MAGA Republicans, you should be ashamed.
You should be deeply ashamed. What did you
Yeah.
teach your child?
You need to go to church. You need to take your kids to church. I'm
I'm with
not
you,
normally
brother. I
one to
really am.
recommend church for anyone, but you people need some God.
Well, you know what though, John? That said, because I'm as non-religious as you are these days.
Mm,
Um, what I did get out of my church upbringing
mm.
was an education to love my neighbor, to
Yes.
do good to other
Right.
people, to treat other
Right.
people the way I want
That's
to be treated.
that's what I got out of it too. The golden rule, right? Like
Right.
Mormonism is a weird religion in a lot of ways, but I feel like it does teach the important lessons pretty well. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the,
It,
the
it, it
golden
may go
rule is
sideways a few times here and
a
there,
good thing.
but for the most part, the key components
Yeah,
are to
be
be
nice to
good
each other.
to each other, right? To
Yeah,
take care of each
yeah.
other.
Well, follow the example of Jesus, not just listen to
Right.
what he say and then hit other people over the head with it. It's like to
Yeah.
live it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Mormonism has got its problems for sure, but uh, as far as a lot of religions go, it's a much kinder religion, I
Yeah.
would say.
So,
Hey,
okay, well, we're not going to solve the problems of the day
yeah,
sitting here discussing it, but discussing it is important. For me, this is a coping
mm,
mechanism as well,
yeah,
right? So we
yeah,
do have to figure out how to cope with these issues. Part of it is to bring them to light. And there's a lot of people, of course, working hard at doing that.
yeah,
But it's to ask the questions, the important questions. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Is this is this what's best for not only ourselves but for the our neighbors, our nation, and the world?
mm,
Because we can't just be nationalist. We
yeah,
do have to consider that we are members of a world group, right? We
yeah,
are
yeah,
human beings, and
yeah,
are we taking care of each other?
yeah,
And you know, those are the important questions to ask. We've got to
yeah,
keep asking them. So, all
yeah,
right, brother. Take a break for,
yeah.
a day or
Oh, well,
two
there's
from the news.
yes, I need to because I just remembered now. There's a lot of insanity going on in Texas. Like there
Oh my
are
gosh.
over 800 new laws coming into effect September 1st. It's already in effect. It's after that now.
Yeah.
800. Like,
Yeah.
how is this small government? Are these
Yeah.
people Republican or what?
No, they're not.
It's
None of this is
unbelievable.
Republican.
No,
Republicans are no longer
it's not.
Republicans. Not the
No, they're not.
Republicans of even Reagan era at
800 new
all.
laws,
Bush era.
and it's like an amazing array of things, and like some of them are like, well, like
Um,
no, it's illegal to have a cell phone at school.
when I was teaching in Texas, you were required to allow your students to use their cell phone
Oh
in
yeah.
lieu of a computer.
Oh, well,
That was the biggest headache to me as
okay.
a teacher,
I don't
though,
know. I'm all right with
because
that. In lieu of a
kids were on
computer,
their
okay.
phones doing everything but using it as a computer, though.
Well, so you should
They
only
were
have computer times in class, right? So you
right,
say when it's time to use a computer, and that's when the students can look at their phones.
but they're not doing it for their classwork. They're doing it for
Well,
whatever
I
other
understand
reasons that
that,
they're doing.
but you gotta give them some task that's going to compel them to use their phone for their classwork.
Yes. I
Yeah,
tried to,
okay. Anyways,
as an art teacher, they were
mm,
using it for image resources,
that's
right?
it's reasonable. Yes,
Yeah.
it's reasonable.
But so that, yeah, I mean, the pendulum swings, right? But no,
How can anyone hope to remember 800 new laws on top of how many thousands there must already be
yeah.
and suddenly live your life from now?
So we'll
It,
talk about maybe Texas next time, John, because there's a lot
um,
going on in Texas. I
yeah,
agree.
maybe we
And that's our
shouldn't.
home state. And
Texas is
it
such a mess.
breaks
I'm
my
so glad
heart.
I'm not there anymore. Yeah, it breaks my heart too, but I think it's only because our heart was based on a lie. It was based on brainwashing. It's the same stupid people living in that state now that have always lived there. And we dealt with them when we were young. And maybe we were more tolerant of it at that point. But it's the same people. And they're still screwing
But
it up.
here's what I'm going to remind you, John, that
Hmm.
we are also a product of that state and that
Yeah, that's true.
upbringing.
That's true. No, there's a
I,
few good apples in there, right? Don't get
right.
me
There's a
wrong.
few good
Not
ones.
not every single person in Texas is a moron. But god damn, there's a lot of them.
I'm gonna lay that back on education. Back to
Yes,
education
it
and
is.
why I
It
no
is.
longer teach in public schools. But
Yes.
another
Me
day, another
too. Me
topic.
too. Me too.
Uh, let's keep an eye on things, but not to the point that it makes you insane.
Yes.
Certainly protect your mental health, your mental
Yeah.
clarity,
If you're feeling
and then
healthy, read up on Venezuela and the murder of 11 Venezuelans by U.S. military forces.
that's said, brother.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Good night.
Good night.
If you enjoyed this content, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.